Welcome to Yoga with Subhash. In this segment, we will be practicing one of the inversion poses called the Sarvangasana or the shoulder stand, along with its counter stretch called the Matsyasana or the fish pose. In this demonstration, I will also be showing a few of the variations that you can attempt while you're in the final Sarvangasana posture. So let's get started. Lie down on your mat and relax in the shavasana for a few breaths. And now to get started, bring the feet together, palms on the floor alongside the body, and slowly begin to lift the legs off the floor. When they reach the vertical position, pause briefly and then swing the legs overhead. Try to bring the legs parallel to the floor behind you and then place the hands at that point behind your back. So you're trying to use the hands as support so that you can start lifting the legs up to a full vertical position. So this position is called the Sarvangasana, where in the final position your heels, buttocks and shoulders end up being in a completely vertical plane. And every now and then you can make minor adjustments. You can gently slide the hands down closer to your shoulders so that the body becomes completely vertical. And you can maintain the final position for whatever duration you're comfortable with. And typically you want to build up your capacity to about 2.5 to 3 minutes before we start the variations. And remember, in this position, your awareness is at the base of the throat. That's where the thyroid and the parathyroid glands are located. And it is the massage of these organs that is part of the benefits that this pose brings us. It improves our metabolism, it improves the calcium content of the body for a better bone health. The heart's pumping blood against gravity, so it's getting a little stronger. So tremendous benefits for this posture. And now you can start making some variations here. And we'll start with a few variations that you can try. Spread the legs wide apart into a V shape. And while in the V shape, you can create a slight twisting move. So twist the body around, keeping the legs still wide apart. Do it in one direction, and then do it in the other direction. And you can again hold these poses for some length of time. Finally, bring the legs up, back to the vertical position, into the full Sarvangasana. And from here you can start lowering one leg at a time behind you, keeping the other vertical. And you can alternate this movement a couple of times on each side. One leg down, the other leg vertical. And finally, bringing both the legs back up to a full vertical position again. Back to the Sarvangasana. And here you can bend your knees and then do a little bicycle move. Pick one direction. Do a gentle, easy going bicycle movements in one direction, then switch to the other direction, do a few in the other direction. And you can, like I mentioned, you can do these movements for a shorter or longer duration depending on your comfort level. The next variation you want to try is to bring yourself into the Padmasana or the lotus pose. So fold the knees and bring the body into the lotus pose, Padmasana. And once you're in the pose, you can lower the knees all the way down closer to the forehead for a deep spinal stretch. And then go back up to the full Sarvangasana for a moment. And at this point, we will go into the full Halasana or the plow pose, where the effort is to bring the feet all the way back overhead behind you, and you can keep them on the floor if that's comfortable. Otherwise, just bring them as far down as they are comfortable. You can keep the hands on the floor, or you can interlock the fingers behind you into a full plow pose. The next move you can try is what's called this niralamba, or the unsupported shoulder stand, where you can start lifting the legs up without using the hands for support. And then you can maintain that pose for a few moments. And finally, let's try a bridge pose. So place the hands on your waist or on the back, and very slowly first lower one foot down to the floor and then the other foot into a full bridge pose. And again, you can maintain this position for a few moments. And finally, push yourself back up into the plow pose, one final moment. And then to come out of the pose, very slowly begin to release the back down. And finally, when the tailbone touches the floor and the legs are vertical, pause for a brief moment. And still trying to maintain the legs very straight, slowly bring the legs down to the floor. And rest for a couple of moments here. Now the counter stretch for the shoulder stand, it's called the fish pose or the Matsyasana. Matsya is the Sanskrit word for a fish. So let's get started for the Matsyasana. So bring the feet together. Let's sit up on the elbows. And at this point, place the palms under the buttocks. Palms could be facing up or down. And then slowly roll the shoulders back to lift the chest up all the way high. And then release the head down to the floor. So the crown of the head is resting on the floor, and you're almost looking at the wall behind you. Keeping the shoulders rolled back will lift the chest up. And in this position, if you feel comfortable, you can try to lift the feet off the floor about 3 to 4 inches. That should give you additional stretch on your thighs, on your abdominal area, as well as your lower back. And to come out of the pose, let's bring the feet down, lift yourself back up onto the elbows, lower the chin down to the chest, and then very slowly and smoothly release the back down and finally the head down. And then rest there for a few moments in shavasana now. So that's the full sequence of the combination of Sarvangasana, or the shoulder stand, and the fish pose, which is the counter stretch, or the Matsyasana.